It is no secret that Amazon Prime Day deals can be some of the biggest sales days of the year for e-commerce sellers. Sure, there's Black Friday, there's Cyber Monday, there's Q4, there's other holidays, but there's something about those Prime Day deals for Amazon FBA sellers that really increases sales velocity and brings a ton of organic rank benefit. But should you do an Amazon deal? What do you need to think about? And equally important, how do you actually set a deal up? In this video, we're going to talk about how you can 5x plus your sales using Prime Day deals, including a completely free Prime Day scenario breakdown, a break-even calculator to see if you have the actual margins to do it, and an 11-step SOP for how you can get it done. So look, my shirt's extra loud today, so turn the volume up on this one and let's go. What is up, guys? Welcome to Heist. If this is your first time here, we do deep dive strategic content for e-commerce and Amazon FBA sellers for how you can take your e-com brand to the next level. Now look, Amazon does 2 Prime Day deals a year, usually early summer and usually early fall. And we actually have one coming up here in a couple days. So this video is all about a breakdown on what Prime Day deals can do for your business, how you can assess whether it makes sense to do one yourself, and equally important, both the math and SOP on how to actually execute a Prime Day deal. So let's dive right into this. I want to start with an example of a product where we did a Prime Day deal last early summer. There's a lot of talk about, what the impact is if you do a Prime Day deal, the impact if you don't do one, what the whole dynamics are, but not a lot of people dive into the actual real data, and we're going to do that here right now. So for this particular product and this campaign, which took place last July, before Prime Day deals, so from July 1st up into July 11th, this product averaged about $425 per day. Not too shabby, humming along, nothing to complain about. But for this product, during a 2-day Prime deal, we enacted just a 20% discount, and the average sales during that period of time was over $4,100. That's over a 9x increase. And frankly, most of the products that we ran these Prime Day deals for saw at least a 5x, and in many cases similar to this, a 9x plus return. Looking at feedback just from the Amazon ecosystem, it seemed like most people were seeing at least a 3x, with many in that 5 to 10x range. So when you do just a 20% discount, you get that Prime Day badge, you get the additional visibility, and you have a whack load of shoppers on the platform ready to buy. Special things can happen. And even if you don't run a deal, there's also some additional benefits too. So let's say that you're not eligible for a deal or you don't have the inventory position. Even just during Prime Day, because of the shopping frenzy that's taking place, most products will see at least a 20 to 30% bump over a standard day. People will have products in cart that they maybe added a week, a month, 2 months ago, and they're on their shopping and they check out and it just gets checked out with it. Or they just happen to be in buying mode. They're looking at your product even without a discount, they can check out. So Prime Day is fantastic across the board, including obviously this case study and example of a real one that we did last Prime Day. But the big question, should you do a Prime Day deal or should you not? Now, the number one criteria typically when you're doing this assessment is to understand your inventory position. Because you can 3, 5, 10x your sales if you use a Prime Day badge, you may deplete your stock and not have forecasted sales velocity in there such that you run out of stock. And if this is a fall Prime Day deal specifically, it can be really dangerous because you're coming up on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the holidays. So you've really got to, number one, assess your inventory position. Do you have enough inventory if you see a spike in sales to remain in stock? If you don't, or you think it's going to be a little bit hairy, do not do a Prime Day deal. Take that 30% bump to the bank and go on about your day and prepare that inventory and run it out so that you don't run out of stock. So check your inventory is critical, number one. The second question is, can your margins support it? So to be eligible for a Prime Day deal, you must have at least a 20% discount over the lowest price over the previous 30 days. So let's say you ran a coupon or a lightning deal, or you just have thin margins, you may not be able to go 20% down from the previous lowest price the last 30 days. I've got a link down below. You just give me your email address and I've got an actual calculator to help you figure out what that may look like. But you want to crunch the numbers and understand, do your margins support a deal? And then finally, you've got to ask yourself, do you meet the criteria? There are criteria to get a Prime Day badge, which we're going to get into here in a couple minutes. But if you look at this scenario here that I've kind of put up, just looking at a normal product on a normal sales cycle, let's say that you're selling something for $100, you run out the Amazon referral fees, FBA fees, your factory costs, your unit margins before ads, and let's say that you're running 100 sales a day. In this particular case, you'd be getting a net margin on a typical day on Amazon with your typical sales velocity of $5,500. Now let's use an aggressive case. Let's say that you don't do a badge and you see a 50% uplift. Again, keeping that price the same, not doing any discounts. You'd be looking at a net margin for that day of $8,250. Pretty damn awesome. The next couple scenarios though look at what the impact is both from a break even and a uppercase if you actually use a Prime Day badge. So let's say you do a 20% discount, bringing that revenue down to $80 per unit. You would need to sell 217 units to get that same benefit of not using a Prime Day badge. So you've definitely got to increase the sales because you've got less margin to hit that break even amount. But like that scenario at the top, if you did a 5x sales day because of the badge, you'd actually get $19,000. And on the upper range, which again is not uncommon, let's say you 10x sales, that would be a $38,000 margin day. So look at your scenarios like this, use that calculator if you click the link down below to understand if it does make sense for you to deploy a deal or not, assuming you have the inventory. Now, as I mentioned, there are criteria for a Prime Day deal. I put those guidelines here that we can kind of just run through, but obviously if you don't meet these criteria, even if you have inventory, even if you have the margins, you're not going to be able to run a Prime Day deal on that particular product. So some highlights here, the big one is you've got to discount it at least 20% over the lowest price from the previous 30 days. So again, if you've done a coupon, if you reduced your price, did a lightning deal, you've got to be 20% below that. This has got to be for FBA products only, so this will not work and you will not get the badge for FBM products. The product you want to run a deal on has to have a 3.5 star rating or better, and then your seller account over the previous year must have at least a 4-star rating or above. So those are criteria. If your product or account doesn't meet those criteria, you won't be able to run Prime deals. So assuming you've checked all those boxes and you want to run a Prime Day deal, let's just run through this 11-step SOP, again included in the link down below if you want this sucker for free. You basically just start out by going to your actual Amazon account. If you're on the old workflow, you're going to click on the top left corner, go down to advertising, and then go to Prime exclusive discounts. If you've got the old Seller Central workflow where there's tabs at the top, just click advertising, go down to Prime exclusive discounts. Once you're there, step 4, you're going to see a page like this. All you need to do is actually click to create a discount. That's going to pop up this window where you're going to actually have to name the discount category. We usually just do like Prime Day discount 1 for the first one of the year, or Prime Day discount 2. You may want to do fall Prime Day or summer Prime Day, but you're going to have to name the campaign, and you just do that there at the top. Now, whether this is a summer or fall deal, there's typically going to be a toggle where you can just select a box, and then Amazon's going to know what prime period you're actually looking at. So in this fall example, we just click that box and then it knows it's a fall Prime Day deal. Once you've got that locked and loaded, step 7, you just save and add products, which is going to take you to another window where you can actually assign the products, assign the discounts, and set all of your deals up. It's going to default to 3 here. So if you've got a large catalog and want to run a lot of deals, you just add, and you can add as many as you want in there for the products that you want to add. One thing that we recommend doing though is instead of an amount off, which is going to be the default setting, you're going to want to go deselect those to percentage off. Now step 9, you can basically assign the discount that you want. Again, the minimum that you've got to do is 20% off the lowest price. So we just selected it 20%. If you want to get really aggressive and really enticing, or you want to move through some old inventory, something like that, you can do a deeper discount to entice the customer. But in that example I showed where we had a 9x plus increase in sales, it was just a 20% discount. So I don't think you have to get crazy here. I would recommend using 20% as a minimum unless you really want to move inventory and get rid of some dead stock. Now step 10, it's going to provide those guidelines again on the right. You just want to kind of review those. If you submit it and you have any errors, you're just going to want to look at that product and see if maybe it doesn't qualify per those guidelines. But assuming everything is set up and done, the last step is just to submit that sucker and you're off to the races. Now, if you're watching this video and it's like 24 hours from a Prime Day, don't sweat. You can literally set these up even while the Prime Day deals are going on. So say you are 2 hours away from Prime Day, you can set this up. Let's say that you missed Prime Day number 1 and you're like, crap, I want to do it for Prime Day number 2. You can actually set that up and it will actually turn over within about 10 minutes, assuming your criteria is met. So that's how you set up a Prime Day deal. Again, the SOP down below if you click the link. Now let's talk about some strategy here, some 3 specific strategies. Number 1 is the pay-per-click strategy. A lot of people talk about increasing bids and doing all this stuff. My personal recommendation is that you don't actually need to increase the bids, even though it may be more competitive. You typically just need to increase your budgets. So find those campaigns that are winning and that are working, double, triple, quadruple that budget, keeping the bids the same as you have historically, just to ensure that you don't run out of money. The reason is you're gonna get a lot more traffic, a lot more impressions, and a lot more clicks. And if you just have your normal daily budget set up, you may run out of that in a matter of hours. So the only thing I recommend from a pay-per-click standpoint is to increase the budgets. Now the second is around traffic. Again, this scenario here where we 9X was just based on Amazon typical organic and pay-per-click traffic. But this is a time if you really want to put your back into it and you've got the inventory position, you may want to run some Prime Day specific Google ads to drive additional traffic to your listings. You may want to tap some influencers on the shoulder that you worked with before and say, hey, look, we're doing a really screaming deal. You should add a story and you're going to likely get more referral commissions. If you've got an email list, you should certainly let them know that you've got some Prime Day deals going on. And you may also want to do an Amazon Live because again, there's a flood of eyeballs that are going to be on Amazon.com. Doing an Amazon Live can give you additional attention when people are on your product page and or when they're on competitor or category pages. So you may want to run these throughout the day if you've got the resources to do so, again, just so you can get that Amazon Live traffic. Now, the final thing that you may want to do is just think about conversions, again, because you're going to have so many more people on your page. There's so much more in buying mode. They're ready to transact. You've got the Prime Day badge. You've got the 20% plus discount. You really want to capture as many of those as possible. So if you haven't dusted off your content in a while, like your A+ content, you're definitely going to want to look at this as an opportunity to invest a little bit of time and update your A+ content. Again, use this with your discretion because sometimes Amazon may not like this, but you may want to put some specific stuff in your imagery on your actual listing images, talking about the Prime Day discount, and you may even want to fuse some stuff in your bullets. So simple, short, to the point. Literally, you can set this stuff up in under 10 minutes. And it has a dramatic impact on both your revenue, your margins, even though you've got a discounted price, your organic rank, your reviews, all those things that you care about when you're scaling an e-commerce business and you're trying to drive performance for your Amazon brand. If you like this one and it's your first time here, go ahead and hit subscribe down below. The YouTube algorithm also thinks that a video like this is up your alley, so check it out. We drop videos every single Monday. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for paying attention with my loud shirt and turning your volume up, and we will see you next week. Cheers, guys.